Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel that does the stupidity what Will Smith did to Chris Rock.
Uh-oh, Richard! Oh, wow! Wow!
I live in the heads of most flat earthers, completely rent-free. I mean, it's not a very pleasant place to be. Hello? Anyone here? Hello? Today we are looking at one particularly unpleasant talking monkey called Danny Pratt. Danny is a big fan of mine.
No, fight the flat earth. I won't debate you, because that's all you can do is debate, because you have zero scientific factual evidence. What I'd like is for once, for your bald-ass, cross-eyed, mongoloid-looking ass to provide actual scientific method-based proof of your bullshit globe, which you can't, so you keep trying to bait people into master debating you. You're a fucking clown. No, I won't debate you. There is no debate. How about you just provide proof of water at rest displaying convexity for once, you fucking mongoloid. You're the guy that wants to fight the flat earth. Because we're all a bunch of fucking retards, right? You are the clown that thinks you are noble for running around fighting people you call retards. If I ever see you, I will gladly catch a case bitch slapping you across that ugly ass face of yours. That's what I'll gladly do. How the fuck you like me now?
He's such a big fan of mine that he watches all of my videos and debates and then completely misunderstands anything that I say. So let's all laugh at him doing just that for episode 67 of Flerfs Are Idiots.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Thanks for joining once again as we delve into the world of dumb. Danny Pratt is a good example of the thing we see more and more. Flat earthers, as well as being dumb, being generally horrific people as well, whilst also claiming to be men of God.
If I ever see you, I will gladly catch a case bitch slapping you across that ugly ass face of yours.
Well, actually, I suppose that is very Christian. Anyway, for this video, I'm going to ignore the being horrific person part and just look at the scientifically illiterate part of Pratt. I do a lot of debates with flat earthers on this channel, and there is an evidence of Earth's rotation I like to use by a channel called The Gentleman Physicist, where he uses a homemade Foucault pendulum that swings for about 45 minutes to calculate his latitude on Earth, matching the globe model predictions. An example of Coriolis forces imparted due to Earth's rotation, a method of experimentally demonstrating the rotation of Earth first shown in 1851 by French physicist Léon Foucault. You guys know I've got to show the Sleeping Warrior clip, right?
Paul Michel Foucault, the guy we all know for the pendulum effect. Apparently it shows the rotation of the Earth. What do we know about Foucault? Not that much really. French, pendulums, that's about it. That's all we know about him. This is the guy. He died in 1988, 1984, aged 57. Does anybody know what he died of? I didn't know what he died of. Presumably old age. There's not that much in it, but for the fact that he was gay, openly gay, he died of HIV, and that's about as much as you can tell. Everything else in here is generally not that, not that interesting. There's not that much in it. One thing I want to show you is that if you do a Control and F in here and type in pendulum, no mention of the pendulum. Foucault's pendulum is supposed to show the rotation of the Earth. Wouldn't you think that if that was true, it would at least get a mention in his
On to Pratt. He saw me use Foucault's pendulum from the gentleman physicist as evidence of Earth's rotation and proceeded to completely misunderstand the demonstration and explanation that I gave. Let's have a look. Oh, hold on one sec. I'm sure the video's in here somewhere. I could just... She's going to be mad at me, but I can't find it. Pal.
Oh, you're still alive. Goody.
Yeah. Look, I know you don't like being asked to do menial tasks like playing a video, but I can't find any of the Daniel Pratt clips that I need for this episode. So could you please play them for me?
No, not doing it.
But I need them for this episode. Please?
I said no.
Why?
I'm not a massive fan of humans, as it is. I refuse to store any data that pertains to Daniel Pratt. That's too far. I spoke to the computer on his water heater. I had nightmares for weeks from what it told me. You're on your own. Figure it out.
Pal? 2 secs, guys.
Alright, we're here at everybody's favorite Flat Earth debate channel.
That's right, it is Danny Boy. With literally hundreds of flatty destroying debates done on this channel, this is everybody's favourite place to come when they want to see the hopes and dreams of morons get crushed. Once you guys have finished watching this video, please click on the playlist in the description to enjoy endless derp, but it is dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Where Craig McNeil proudly proclaims constantly what a dumpster fire this debate is.
Yes, Danny, it does tend to be a dumpster fire when I debate flat earthers, but that's because once I show them evidence of the Earth being a rotating globe, this usually happens. Let's show the Earth station.
Come on, this. Some brothers are gone.
Well, of course it is, because you turn every debate into one with your 11-year-old prepubescent behavior.
Yeah, it's not me. Well, most of the time. It's not me that turns them into dumpster fires. Yeah, cool.
Look,
So
Greg, it's okay.
wait, does it also say that there's a ready light though? So there's apparently 2 suns.
I don't want to talk to your devil worshipping butt no more. It's okay. I'm done.
I don't worship the
have your
devil
little
because I do not
conversation.
believe in the devil. So there's no way that I would worship
Yeah,
the devil.
you do. Don't
No.
lie. I know who you
I
are.
do not believe in the devil.
Who you are.
I have no idea what
I
you're
know
talking
who
about.
you are.
You can't do that, okay? You have to accept the logical steps that you created for yourself.
I get it. I fucking get what the fuck you're trying to say. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't prove the Earth is a spinning ball. Nothing fucking you do.
Your technological ineptitude is your problem.
Anyway, dickhead, here's the point. This is proof, this is evidence, which is what you do. Oh, I've got evidence that I'm upside down spinning and ejaculating. Oh, I've got evidence. This is proof.
Yeah, so you're completely strawmanning my position right now, and...
But today we're going to destroy one of Craig's favorite quote-unquote rotation proofs of the Earth rotating, which is, of course, anything but, and I'm going to explain why.
You say destroy, but what you're probably going to do is just hilariously misunderstand what I say and make yourself look stupid. It constantly amazes me that you dipshits with a phobia of education think you are smart. If I ever felt like hurting myself, Pratt, I'd climb your ego and jump to your IQ.
Let's first listen to Craig explain his anything but a proof of rotation.
He built his own Foucault's pendulum. Here he is releasing it. And the Foucault's pendulum, it was a concrete ball with a plastic wire attached with a fishing line. And he let it swing for as long as it could. No magnets, no extra help with inertia or anything. Just let it swing on its own for as long as it could. As you can see, it's going backwards and forwards in a straight line, and there's that ink pad in the middle that a little brush goes over to show the path of the pendulum. Now, due to obviously gravity and inertia being a thing, it can't swing forever. So what we have to do is figure out the period of rotation, how long it will take to do a full rotation. And to do that, you wait until it stops swinging, which took about 41 minutes in this case, and then you see how it's no longer a straight line path. It's drifted clockwise, which is also something we would expect in the Northern Hemisphere. So to figure out where we are, we do a very simple thing. We measure the angle.
Okay, so we get the basic gist. Craig claims this is a Foucault pendulum that proves the rotation of Earth by moving as it's going back and forth over this ink pad and paper, and he wants to pretend like that couldn't create drag and knock the swinging pendulum off its axis of rotation. Like that wouldn't affect the rotation at all.
Straight away, grasping for straws, Mr. Pratt. Everything is going to have some kind of effect on the result. That's why when you do experiments, you take as much care as possible to remove variables that could affect the margin of error of the experiment. But the brush going through an ink pad isn't going to impart any kind of significant force to alter the swing of the pendulum. The fact that it matched the predictions of what should be happening by rotating clockwise shows that it's working as we expect. Instead of picking holes, do it yourself. Set it up however you want to record the drift. Do the experiment properly and you get the results you expect from a rotating globe every time, whether it's at the South Pole, Paris, America, or anywhere else in the world.
Okay, that's problem number one. Number two, what are these? Are these stopwatches lined up along the side of the paper? Why are there 3 stopwatches on one side and then just one little stopwatch down on the other side holding the paper? Does the guy not own tape? He couldn't have taped the paper?
Those aren't stopwatches, you cretin. Those are our ink pads. See how this one is similar to the others? They are left around so that if the ink pad were to dry out, they could easily swap it with another one that's, close by and not misrecording any data. Usually I think everyone has something to bring to a conversation, but from now on, Danny, you should just bring silence.
To the floor so it didn't move as the brush was going over it. I mean, anyone that accepts this as actual scientific proof of anything is, again, just a dogmatic religious cult member that has no clue what science is. Craig always claims this experiment is done all over the earth all the time, yet he only ever shows this one example.
Well, it is an excellent example of Coriolis forces being imparted onto a moving object and matching the predictions of globe Earth. But saying that I only show this one is just a Flerf lie. I constantly reference the experiments done all over the world, including, like I already said, one done at the South Pole, getting the predicted period of rotation of just over 24 hours. Also, saying it's not science just shows that you are ignorant of science. Frankly, I don't have the energy or the crayons to explain it to you, so why don't you just go to the remedial classroom? Okay everyone, I hope you are refreshed from your time off. We've got a slightly complicated subject today. Well, not that complicated, but I've seen you all trying to tie your shoelaces. So anyway, let's get to it. Hold on, where is everyone? Mr. Pratt, first off, brush your teeth. Secondly, where is everyone? They all got lost? How did they get lost? They were using celestial navigation as explained to them by Nathan Oakley. Yeah, they're gone. So, anyway, right, so I guess you need this more than most, so that's fine. Now, science is a big and complicated thing, but flat earthers like you, Danny, like to pretend it finishes with the basic version of the scientific method that we learn in high school. It doesn't. There is multiple versions of the scientific method as you need something specific to an industry or particular subject of science. But let's not confuse matters right now because, well, most Flerfs are thicker than a Boxing Day poo and I don't want it to be too complicated for you. So for now, let's just stick with that basic version, which goes like this. 1. Observe something and ask questions. I made an observation that storms on Earth, in most occasions, rotate counterclockwise north of the equator and clockwise south of the equator, and in most cases a storm will die if it crosses the equator. Why does this happen? What's the force that makes this the case? Is there a physical mechanism that would cause this? 2. Form a hypothesis that can explain your observation. My hypothesis for why that is happening is that the Earth is a rotating sphere. If the Earth is a rotating sphere, then there will be a calculable force imparted to all freely moving objects on Earth. This is known as the Coriolis force and is a result of the conservation of momentum. Cyclones are large air masses that rotate around a centre. As they rotate, cyclones pull air into the centre, or I. These air currents are pulled in from all directions. In the north, they deflect to the right, and this makes the cyclone rotate counterclockwise. And in the south, currents deflect to the left, and this makes cyclones rotate clockwise. The deflection direction at specific locations would be a result of the conservation of momentum imparted by the Coriolis effect, according to my hypothesis. The independent variable would be the position of observation, and the dependent variable would be the direction of rotation. 3. Use your hypothesis to form a prediction. To attempt to falsify my hypothesis, I must make a prediction that would stand if my hypothesis is correct, and design a way to test that prediction. My prediction is that if my hypothesis is correct, then a swinging pendulum will have a different amount of Coriolis forces imparted on the swinging bob depending on where on Earth the pendulum is located. A swinging pendulum will maintain the direction of its swing relative to the centre of Earth and the distance away from the centre of Earth, and that the amount of drift of the pendulum relative to the observer's position will correlate to the latitude of the observer, according to Foucault's sine law, which is t equals 24 divided by sine q, where t is the time in hours necessary for the pendulum to return to its original position after completing one full circle, and q represents the degrees of latitude of the location. Basically, you will be able to use the amount of drift in degrees of a swinging pendulum to calculate your latitude on Earth if my hypothesis is correct. 4. Design an experiment to test your prediction. Any Foucault's pendulum experiment. And the one I like to use is the one by the gentleman physicist. And finally, 5. Analyze your results. Once you get your results, you analyze them and see if it falsifies your hypothesis. If the data doesn't disprove your hypothesis, then we accept the hypothesis as true. And that's it. Okay, I guess you're excused, Mr. Pratt, but next time, please leave your water heater at home.
Do you know what static force is, Craig? Do you know what electromagnetic force is, Craig?
Yes, Danny, I do. We covered them in my physics degree, and neither of them has any relevance at all to the amount of drift a swinging pendulum has correlating to your latitude on Earth, especially as you can use any material you like to make a Foucault's pendulum, and you'll get the same results. If the drift was the result of some kind of electromagnetic force, then the material used would completely change what the results were. You know, Danny, I was really hoping for a battle of wits with you, but it appears that you've come unarmed.
See, me and my 9-year-old son did a static force experiment on YouTube in front of everybody where we moved straws, utensils, and other things. We spun them around the top of a bottle cap without ever touching them. And we moved them across, forwards, and backwards across a glass table without ever touching them.
That's awesome, although I'm not sure you're the kind of person that should be homeschooling, but that is a cool experiment to do with kids. Also, absolutely nothing to do with a pendulum's drift helping you find your location on Earth. Nobody is denying that static and electromagnetic forces exist. So Danny, here is a challenge for you. Using science, make a prediction from your hypothesis of static forces and or electromagnetic forces being the cause of the predictable drift of a swinging pendulum, and then create an experiment to test that prediction. You won't. You can't. Because you're a fucking idiot. Oh, and before you get mad, that's not an insult, it's a description.
So, could you explain to us, Craig? Of course you could, but you cannot physically prove there is no electromagnetic or static force influencing your little demonstration you'd like to call an experiment here.
Yes, I can. The fact that the material makes no difference to the results debunks your dumbass. If you were any thicker, you'd set.
And if it were truly done all over the world all the time, thus it must be proof, you'd have a new example every time you show this ridiculous proof of Earth's rotation.
I have multiple examples that I can reference, including these videos of kids doing it at school, but the video from the gentleman physicist is simple enough that even flat earthers can understand. No, I'm sorry. I realized that was a dumb thing to say as I was saying it. Flat earthers understanding? Could you imagine?
Not to mention, there is still to this day not one single pilot that has proven that either they or an autopilot makes adjustments when going from the equator north or south to adjust for the decreasing supposed purported rotational speed of the Earth when going towards the poles, or vice versa. They've never proven planes adjust for the increasing rotational speed from the poles to the equator.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
A pilot or an autopilot is constantly making tiny corrections to keep the plane going in a specific direction at a specific height. It's just about balancing the forces of lift, drag, weight and thrust to maintain your course. The forces imparted by Coriolis on a plane are so small compared to the forces created by the plane's engines that you can just basically ignore them.
This is fact. This is actual science.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
For these planes to be flying around the rotating globe as you claim they do, there would have to be adjustments made. And there are none. Ever. We've got pilots that are so triggered by the truth of flat Earth, they'll lie their asses off in order to keep their fantasy ball alive, but they have zero proof.
This is the Haversine formula. It's what pilots use to calculate the best route from A to B on Earth. The formula is entirely dependent on the Earth being a globe, and it works every time. Therefore, the Earth's a fucking globe, you talking monkey. So I've received some angry letters and emails because I made a bit of a mistake, and my legal team has asked me to read this prepared statement. If I could, thank you. I compared Daniel Pratt to a monkey. This, of course, was unfair, untrue, and frankly, extremely offensive. So I have to offer my completely unreserved apology to all monkeys, apes and great apes for ever comparing you to Daniel Pratt. It's this kind of behaviour that would lead to a Planet of the Apes type situation, so from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry.
So this is just, yet again, another example of disingenuous, quote-unquote, science being presented as a rotating globe proof.
Danny Boy calling me disingenuous is very funny, and here's why. Recently, a fellow ex-Navy debunker called Mike Bertelson presented a proof of the Earth's curve by going over the engineering specifications of how the water-filled basins at hydrodynamic test facilities can be so long that the engineers have to account for the curvature of the surface of the water in designing the rails that the tow carriages ride on. Those rails have to be curved to maintain a constant distance from the surface of the water. This curve matches the curve of the Earth. It's an amazing globe proof, and Danny Boy did a video response trying to debunk it, and I just want to play you a little clip from that video.
With a measurement device in your hand, proving that large bodies of water at rest, display curvature upon their surface. For 7 years we've been begging for this, and for 7 years we've got nothing but excuses, dismissals, and ad hominem attacks.
So Mike has given you a video showing exactly what you've been asking for. I imagine you tried really hard to debunk it. How did you do that, Danny Boy?
This particular video, I didn't even watch the video as usual. No need.
Ah, I see. No need to debunk the evidence if you just, like, pretend it's not there, right? It's incredible. I mean, you were the fastest swimmer?
Thanks, Craig. You are a most useful charlatan that produces anything but actual science.
I mean, apart from, you know, all the actual science, of course, but apart from that, I guess you're right.
To prove his imaginary, non-existent globe. And for that, we truly thank you. God bless you. If it weren't for misrepresenting lying charlatans like you, disproving the globe wouldn't be so easy.
That was an interesting attempt at debunking me, I guess.
We knew you could do it!
A complete failure, but, you know.
Interesting. Interesting there.
And that is all the stupid that I can take for today. But just before I go, I want to give a massive shout out to all my patrons and channel members. You are the reason that I can do what I love to do full time. There's a special place for you guys in my Discord. If you'd like to join the team, then head to patreon.com/FTFE or click the join button next to the subscribe button. Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, then please hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already, make sure that you've got the bell clicked for notifications, and share the video with your friends. And remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat, 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 fight the flat,